started my journey with dance, I think, as a child, always being fascinated with dance. But I didn't personally start dancing until I was about 18. And it was very shortly after I started training that I launched my professional career. So, very much of what I've learned has been in the process of learning from choreographers and their creative processes. And there have been many in the last over 3 decades. And it was really in the last 7, 8 years that I started creating my own work in collaboration with other artists. I generally respond to what's happening in the world in any given moment in time, in particular to what I learn from my immediate community of artist friends. And my work is very imagistic. I like moving images. I'm not making a lot of movement phrases per se, but really interested in the stories that images tell about people. And I love people. I think whenever I work with dance artists, I feel like there's just so much to gain from seeing them and listening to them and hearing what they're bringing to the room and how that meets with an initial idea that I might have had. And certainly I'm interested in work that I don't want to say has a positive message, but has a poetic message about being alive and the many ups and downs that we all go through individually and as communities of people who interact. Diversity is a difficult word to use. I'm certainly interested in learning from different people and expanding my own perceptions of what it is to be alive. And there's just every day so much more to learn about how one person opens a door and how another person moves through that passageway. I usually begin with a construct or a concept as a kind of guiding thread. But honestly, what happens is my imagination is very active and I think in images. I start to see images in my imagination, often in the middle of the night, just lying in my bed. I wake up and, for example, if I'm creating for a theater presentation, I'll actually start to see the images on stage. And quite often I like to know who the dancers are, performers are, because I will see those specific people. I'll see what they're wearing, I'll see the props, I'll see kind of what they're doing. In real life, those images don't always happen. Once I get into a room with collaborators and performers, it becomes a very spontaneous process because somehow it's a meeting of what I saw before in my imagination and what is present in the room. And that, I feel like that conversation is very much how the work that I create comes to life. I don't really plan. Many artists will write and make really clear plans. All my plans happen as images. The creative process is translating those, the real life images with the dreamed images into something that is a new being. My company is Dumb Instrument Dance, and we're an organization, a not-for-profit organization, and we were founded in 2015. And sometimes people ask me, why is your company named Dumb Instrument Dance? You're not dumb, or the work isn't dumb. And it comes from a line in a poem by Denton Welch. And the line is, I am my heart's dumb instrument. So that's sort of a guiding ethos or sensibility in the work that we do, which is that our bodies, the work that we create, the work that I create is at the service of my humanity and my heart as a human being. And my studio, because you were asking, is called Moro. And we just moved to this beautiful location where all this sunlight is streaming in the morning. We're here on the unceded ancestral territories of the Musqueam First Nations. in what is otherwise known as Vancouver. And it began as a response to COVID-19 so that Demonstrament Dance would have a space to fulfill its creative projects. And we'll be shooting the Joe Bell film here. And it grew into a community engaged space. We have a gallery where we sell the material creations of many artists. We have residencies here for artists. We had about 14 last year at Morrow. So Morrow, I'm realizing, because we just moved into this beautiful place and it began in another place, is it's a physical space, but it's a concept. I think I'm starting to understand, and the concept is about how to hold creative spaces and how to share creative spaces with each other, especially during the pandemic when we feel so isolated. And what are the ways that we can connect physically or creatively? I've been thinking about artistic practice as a type of medicine. And for me, that medicine begins within and traverses without. And then there's medicine and healing all around me. And there's this reciprocity of what are the actions, how do we conduct ourselves in a creative process to care for the people we're working for and with, so that we can care for artistic practice together, and how is our artistic practice caring for the worlds that we live in and the worlds that care for us. I do think of artistic practice as a kind of magic. It's transformative. It opens to so much understanding, I think, and beauty. And it opens to so many questions that, when I'm just at the grocery store, I'm asking what I want to eat for dinner. When I'm in creative process and on stage, the questions can sometimes be very daily, but they can also be very, very profound.